Today, Monday, Trump kicked off the 100th New York City Veterans Day Parade. And I didn't listen to any of the bullshit, but you know he boasted because he is a lying piece of human waste. But he boasted, as he does all the time, he talked about his devotion to the men and women who have served in the military. This son of a bitch has devotion to nobody except himself. That's it. Not his bastard children, not his fucked up wives, not all the hookers and whores and strippers and prostitutes he's associated with. No offense to sex workers. He has absolutely no devotion, no respect, no love for anybody except himself. And the least discreet group in his favor is the military, because he's a fucking coward. 5 or 6 times he screeched about his bone spurs and then found a doctor with a payoff from Trump's old man, the doctor who would say, yeah, okay, you got bone spurs, you can't walk. Oh. Trump is a pig. A legal settlement announced last Thursday, you remember this, reveals that Trump's charitable organization. The legal settlement reveals that for Donald Trump, personal interest outranks even the needs of veterans. He doesn't give a fuck about veterans. He never has. It's just like that little shit Sean Hannity used to have rallies for veterans or something. Then the fucking money would disappear. Under the agreement in New York, the New York judge ordered Trump to pay $2 million in damages after Trump admitted that his now defunct Donald Trump Foundation largely benefited Donald Trump. In a stipulation, Trump essentially agreed that the foundation was what the New York Attorney General's office said it was when it filed suit a year ago, a piggy bank to pay bills and fund political spending, as reported here by the editorial board of the New York Times. They are commenting on that decision. It's an interesting admission about his foundation, as the U.S. House seems ready to accuse him of using the Pentagon budget for his own political ends. The deal in Ukraine, or the deal with the fence, the wall. Trump acknowledged in the settlement that his 2016 campaign controlled the $2.8 million the foundation had raised at a fundraiser for veterans in Iowa in January 2016, only days before that state's presidential nominating caucuses. Perfect timing, huh? The fundraiser was used, in the words of the judge who oversaw this, quote, to further Mr. Trump's political campaign. What a filthy son of a bitch. If you're a veteran, if you've served in any way in the U.S. Armed Forces and you are going to vote for Trump, you are shitting and spitting on your uniform, your branch of the service, and the Constitution. Reporting by the Washington Post, which led to the New York State Attorney General's investigation of Trump Foundation, found that the foundation could not provide any evidence that it gave anything to veterans groups until reporters started asking about it months after this fundraiser back in Iowa. When Mr. Trump was not treating the foundation like an arm of his campaign, he used it to pay off some of his business's legal obligations, according to last Thursday's settlement, to which Trump agreed. He also used the foundation money to buy a $10,000 portrait of himself. Hey, veterans, are you listening? A portrait he now displays at one of his hotels. A gift this shameless, a portrait of yourself, was bound to collapse under its own weight. In December, the foundation agreed to dissolve and to distribute its remaining assets to charity under court supervision, of course. That was last December. They're not going to trust Trump to fucking tell them what time of day it is. Justice Sally Ann Scarpola, the state Supreme Court in Manhattan put multiple restrictions on any future involvement by Trump in charities. In addition, his three bastard children, Don Jr., Ivanka, and Eric, all of whom were foundation officers, agreed to undergo training to help them avoid similar missteps going forward. Oh, okay. You're going to take these three offshoots of this miscreant motherfucker and you're going to give them training about how not, well, don't do it again. And they're going to go, Ivanka and her fucked up brother, Don Jr., and then the crazy one, Eric? Right. And despite his admissions of misconduct in this agreement, Trump, as always, made clear who he thought was the victim in the case: himself. He said this. He tweeted this Thursday evening in a statement about the settlement. Quote, "I am the only person I know, perhaps the only person in history, who can give money to charity, charge no expenses, and be attacked by the political hacks in New York State." Of course, as the Times points out, a foundation with no employees and a board that rarely met was unlikely to have very many expenses at all. It was a slush fund. Trump knows it. His bastard children know it. The state attorney, or the attorney general in New York State knows it. We know it. Trump then rolled smoothly into an attack on the three New York attorneys general who pursued the case over the past 3 years. Of course. And in closing, in his little fucky tweet, he characterized the $2 million in damages that he's been ordered to pay as a contribution that he is, his word, happy to donate to worthy groups. I'm happy to do it. $2 million isn't going to break Trump's piggy bank. It is, however, a rare instance in which someone is finally holding Trump accountable for this particular misbehavior. And the Times editorial board closes with, more than that, he has now been compelled to publicly admit to having misled the public. That means lied to the public. And all those veterans for whom he professes to hold such respect. Well, like I said, if you have ever served your country in uniform, and I'm not just talking about military uniforms, if you've ever been a Boy Scout or a Girl Scout, if you've ever worn any kind of uniform that requires an oath to, in some manner or other, confirm that you are devoted to the Constitution of the United States and your cohort and the people of this country, if you've ever served in uniform, any uniform, ever taken an oath, any oath, and you're going to vote for Trump, then you are a lying, hypocritical prick. You really are. You're not worth the powder to blow you to hell. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcast. You have your choice. You can listen to the ranting with the audio podcast or listen and watch me lose control with a video podcast subscription. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.